I once again welcome you all of you the lecture series of the microprocessor and microcontrollers. Okay, so today we are going to see the small topic or the block diagram or architecture of the PIC microcontrollers. You know that so this is the microcontroller family. PIC is nothing but one of the microcontroller. But as we already discussed about the 8051 microcontroller. So it is somewhat the controller is somewhat different from this 8051 microcontroller because whatever you are discussed 8086 microprocessor or 8051 microcontroller that are designed by the Intel Corporation, but now this PIC18 microcontroller is designed by the Microchip company. Okay, so you know that 8086 microprocessor or 8051 microcontroller are followed the one human architecture, but this PIC 18 microcontroller is follow the Harvard architecture. We'll see that what are the difference between one human architecture and Harvard architecture. So how many pins of that PIC 18 microcontroller, what is the block diagram of that one, what is the CPU function order at the registers, I will see in this class. Okay, uh, see this structure. So what is the full form of the PIC, whatever you are calling PIC 18 PIC 16 PIC 12 or whatever it may be, we'll see it in PIC is nothing but the peripheral interface controller. Okay, peripheral interface controller. Who can develop this PIC? PIC is developed by the, as I said, Microchip technology in the year 1993. So PIC controller is for very low cost, fast, easy programming execution of the program. So their interfacing with the peripheral is also very easy. So that's why we call it as a peripheral interface controller. See the some of the family of the PIC controllers. First family is PIC 10. Then second family of micro controllers, PIC control microcontrollers are PIC 12. So these are the numbers. This X will indicate the numbers. This F will indicate the flash memory. F will indicate the flash memory. Remember, F will indicate the flash memory. Then second family is 12, PIC 12. Then third family is PIC 16. Then fourth family, whatever you are discussed here, this one. Fourth family of the microcontrollers, PIC 17 or 18. So based on our syllabus, we are discussing the PIC 18. PIC 18 microcontrollers. PIC 18. So FE stands for flash memory. Remember whenever in the PIC they can given the number 18F or something 532 5T. So PIC 18 for example 532 for suppose. So this F will indicate the flash memory. Flash memory. So this is one type of the RAM. Okay. So see that as I said, this PIC microcontroller architecture is based on the Harvard architecture, and it also supports the risk means here reduced instruction set. So the same principles are used in the 8051 microcontroller as well as the 8086 microprocessor. So likewise, how that microprocessor and microcontroller memory is there. Likewise, PIC controller memory is also like RAM and ROM memory as well as stack memory. It has the CPU, timers, counters, analog to digital converters, digital to analog converters, as well as serial communication, then CPP model and input output model. Okay, so it is also the USART as well as UART is also there. So these are the some functions of the PIC 18 microcontrollers. MCU stands for the microcontroller units. Microcontroller units. So these are the some features. So it has some parallel IO ports. You know that. So it has some parallel ports. You know the port 1, port 2, or port A, port B, port C are likewise ports. It has some parallel ports. By using these ports only, we are able to connect the input output devices. It has some timers, so timer functions. So you know that likewise 8051 microcontrollers, this PIC controller has also some timers. So timer 0, timer 1, and timer 2 controllers. So as well as series third one. So it has some pulse width modulation techniques. Whenever you are using whenever you are connecting some devices for alternate device, and the time you are using this pulse width modulation techniques. Okay, so serial interfacing. This has SPI as well as IC2 serial interfacing. These are the ports for that. As well as it has the USART devices also that. In 805 microcontroller, we are using UART. UART. So serial communication purpose. Universal asynchronous receive and transmit. But it has the universal synchronous asynchronous receive and transmit. So synchronous transmission is also possible. It has the A to D converter, then DTA converter, then power module, then SRAM, DRAM, then EEPROM or flash memory. Series electrically programmable read-only memory, or erasable programmable read-only memory, or flash memory we call it as. So it has controller area network. So these are the some features of the 80 sorry, the PIC 18 controller. You see that some of the features are also available in the 805 microcontroller. That is serial communication, then parallel communication, then A to D converters, then at the same time timers, and then parallel ports. Uh, then UART is there. So likewise, then SRAM and DRAM are available. So the only difference between the two, those are, so more number of parallel ports we are using here. So in 8051 microcontroller, we are using only 4 parallel ports, but here you are using so more than 4 parallel ports, more than 4. Remember, more than 4 parallel ports. Here timer in 8051 timer functions, we are using only 2 timers, timer 0 and timer 1. 805 microcontroller, but here in this PIC 18, we are using more than 2, nothing but timer 0, timer 1, timer 2, and so on. We are using here. So here, this is one different case, pulse width modulation technique we are using. So all are remaining. So this is also some different. Remaining all are almost all same. See this? Some of the sorry. See this. These are the some of the PIC 18 family. See this PIC 18 C. So these are whenever you are seeing this C, it stands nothing but there is no flash memory. So PIC 18 C. See, these are some family of the PIC 18 series. You see this. This is the what is the frequency of that one? So this is the 40 Hz. 40 Hz DC up to the 40 Hz. See this PIC 18 C601. See this 601. We are using the 25 megahertz clock frequency. See this. This is also 25 megahertz, but again this is the 40 megahertz. So see this. Okay. See this pins again. Once again, see this pins. So this PIC 18 C242 is, see this 28 pin DAP dual in package. See this. Then second one, see this. This is also the 28 pin. Now see this. This is a 40 pin DAP. Oh, again, this one is also 40 pin. Again, this, but see this. This is the 64 pin. See this. This is 80 pin. This is the 64 pin. That's why. So according to this PIC 18 family, so the number of pins are changes. At the same time, the memory sizes is also changes. Program memory as well as data memory is also changes. Likewise, 805 microcontroller, this PIC controller is also memory is divided into 2 types: program memory as well as the data memory. Whenever you want that one, you are connecting the external memory also. But see this family of the, see this external memory cases. See this external memory. So this is not possible. This is not possible. Only possible in PIC 18. C601 family is possible to connect the external memory. Okay. Then how many timers are there? As I said, 805 microcontroller has only 2 timers. But here see this PIC 18. So in this case, 4 timers are there. All of the cases, 4 timers are there. How many pulse width modulations are available? 2 pulse width modulations are available. Devices are available. See this serial communication purpose. We are using this USART, MSSP units as well as USART. Parallel communication. See this some devices parallel communication is not possible. So some devices parallel communication is possible. So how many channels of that AD converters are available? 5 channels, and some are available at the 12 channels also. So this means that, so according to our syllabus PIC 18, so there is no standard nothing but that so whenever they can ask that in an examinations, so based on that one you can proceed that one. So that's why I'm giving the overall view of the PIC 18 family. Okay, see this some more PIC 8. Now see this program memory. It is 32 kb. This is 1.5 kb data memory, 16 kb, 786 bytes. So see this, then 80 pins. These are 28 pins, 28 pins, then 40 pins, then 40 pins, 28 pins, then 40 pins. So they are giving in our syllabus they are given only PIC 18. So these are the different types of PIC 18 families. See this. 40 edges are there, then 25 edges are there. Okay, this series 80 pins, then 80 pins, then 80 pins, 40 pins, then 40 pins. Okay, so now this is the some basic some block diagram of the one of the PIC 18 series number. So because of the space concern issue, so I will put into this one, this shape, a landscape format. See this, it is some landscape format is there. See this timers. See this, most of the picks are 4 timers: timer 0, timer 1, timer 2, timer 3, and timer 4. 4 timers are available. So how many USARTs are available? 2 USARTs. See this, PWMs as well as USART, 2 types, MSSB and USART. See this. So that's why we are taking 2 USART 1 as well as USART 2. Then serial ports as well as the serial ports, some serial ports. Okay, at the same time these are the some CPU. This is the CPU, this structure is the CPU. So it has ALUs, nothing but arithmetic and logical unit. WRG register is nothing but the working register. So in PIC you can call it as working register. In microprocessor, microcontroller, you can call it as the accumulator. So how many bits? So most of the cases where almost all the PIC 18 are 8 bits controllers, 8-bit PIC controller. So the registers that are available in this ALU, this CPU is almost all 8 bits. So that's why you can consider it as a 8-bit controllers. And, okay, let's see this. This is CPU. So any microprocessor or microcontroller. So the bits of that microprocessor microcontroller is entirely depends upon the CPU, but the registers that are available in that CPU. So the PIC 18 family, almost all the registers are 8-bit series. Almost all the registers are 8-bit. So registers, so different types of registers are there. So W are the registers, then PROD, then programmable registers. So some different types of registers are available here. Okay, now see this ports. Now these are the memory series. These are the data memory. These are the data memory. Likewise, we have the program memory is also available. So these are follow the Harvard architecture. That means the program memory is separate address lines, as well as the data memory is the separate address lines, as well as the data lines. So this program memory and data memory is not available at the same chip. Is not equal the address lines. So address lines are different for both the data memory at the same time program memory. So these are the some ports: port A, port B, port C, port D, port E, port F, port H, and J. We are also continuing to the J. Not only this, limited to this, because these ports are mainly depends upon the number of pins. Number of pins. You know that we have 28 pins pick is there, 40 pins pick is there, 16 pins pick is there, 80 pin pick is there. So based on that number of pins, we are considered. Okay, so this ports are changes, but remaining structure is almost all same. The only changes is this ports. So number of ports are changes. Remaining the CPU structure, program memory, data memory, as well as this timers, as well as the USARTs. So pulse width modulations, this techniques, almost all same. So the only changes is the main changes is number of pins. You know that if the pins are increases, number of ports is also increases. So nearly 5 ports are using. So 8051 microcontroller is 4 ports. This PIC 18 we are considered as nearly 5 ports. So for suppose we are considering 28 some 40 bit 40 pin. Likewise, you are considering most of the cases 5 ports are not. Okay. Oh, see this. This is the. So this is the some one of the microcontroller PIC18 microcontroller architecture. Now see this. This architecture is simplified view of the PIC controller. So this is applicable for any of the PIC18 PIC18 microcontroller. PIC18. This is applicable. This is the simplified view or basic structure of the microcontroller. PIC controllers, PIC microcontroller architecture. Basic structure. This is CPU. This is CPU. You know that. Likewise, this is very much similar to the 805 microcontroller. They have CPU. So CPU has some registers. Okay, CPU has some ALU, arithmetic and logical unit, as well as some registers to perform the operations. So, uh, so, uh, but it follows the Harvard architecture. That's why. So this program memory as well as this data memory is separately connected to the CPU. See this. This is the program memory. See this is the data memory. This is the data memory. Okay, these are the ports. See this. These are the ports. So these timers. So nearly 4 timers are available. So oscillator. So oscillator frequency is up to the uh, up to uh, up to 40 megahertz are available. 40 megahertz are available. Up to 40 megahertz are available. Okay, 40 megahertz are available. So nearly 4 timers are available. These ports are mainly depends upon the number of pins. Number of pins. You see this, you remember the structure only. You remember the structure. So this is the data memory. Data memory. This is also the data memory. Data memory. This is program memory. This is also the memory. This is also. So again, one of the type of the memory is stack. Stack. So this is also available in the microprocessor as well as microprocessor. Oscillator. This southern peripherals is nothing but the some buses as well as some connections. Then PWMs, then USAT and all. This is the basic structure. So this is very much similar to microcontroller, but the only difference is memory organization. So data memory is separate as well as program memory is separate. Now see this. So see this again. You can see this, some basic, one detailed view of the architecture. This is the timer T1, T0, T1, T2, T3, as well as T4 timers are available. So these are the memories. You see this memory. This is CPU. CPU. You see this CPU. CPU. As well as PWMs. You know, as well as this PWM, as well as A to D converters. Then oscillators. 0 to the 20 megahertz is also the 0 to the 40 megahertz now. It is 0 to 40 megahertz. USART are there. Then SFR, special function registers are there. RAM, then program memory, as well as EPROM, electrically erasable program memory, WEPROM, you can call it as. Then port A, port B, and port E. So this is not limited to this one. So this may be increases based on the number of pins. So you can follow this basic steps. Okay. Then you know that as I said, these are following the this architecture. Two types of architectures are there. So one human architecture as well as the the Harvard architecture are there. Now see this what it mean by one human architecture, one human. So or you can also call it as a Princeton architecture. So one human architecture are Princeton architecture. It means so the same address and data lines are same. Are, are same for both program as well as the data. See this. The same address lines are used for accessing both data memory as well as the program memory. Remember, data memory you can also call it as a read and write memory. Okay. So program memory, you have only read that program memory. You are not to write that. So the only possible that is WEP ROM cases or EPROM cases. EPROM cases are flash memory. Are flash memory. Are flash memory. These are the ROM. Flash is also like a ROM. So if you want that one, you have to write or you have to use some special techniques to erase the data that are available in the program memory. So ROM means read-only memory. So but WEP, EP flash memory, WEP electrically erasable. Electrically, you know that word electrically. You are supplying some high power to that memory devices. You know what are the memory devices? Memory devices are nothing but some flip flops. What are there in the flip flops? The flip flops we have some thyristors, some gating functions. We are giving that very high voltages to that gate functions. So we can erase that one, that memory. See this. I draw this some structure. So this is the electron here. So you are giving some high voltage to that one. This electron is moved to this space. So this is the data. So the data is erased. That one. Some simple example. So these are the some splash memory is also some erasable. Some like a ROM memory. Okay, but this EPROM, WEPROM, we can take it into the lab. At the same time, flash memory is also can taken into the lab. You can remove this memory. See this, you are not writing programming, you are writing so it is not possible to erase this EPROM or WEPROM flash memory by writing some programming or like that. So whatever the program memory you are you are removing from the computer and taken back to the labs, then you have to follow the some special arrangements, some techniques, and you can erase that memory. So within the computer, it's not possible to okay, within the computer you are not, it is not possible to erase that. Okay, so this number of how many number of times you are going to erase that program memories. So this WEPROM, EPROM are very limited, nearly of some 20 to 25 up to the 25 to 30 times. This flash memory you can erase and write the data up to the 100 times. Okay, so this flash memory is invented by the Toshiba company. Okay, so this is one neighbor architecture. So one neighbor architecture simply says that so you can access the program memory, data memory by using same address lanes. But see here, this is the Harwood architecture. You can follow the PIC is following this Harwood architecture. PIC is following the Harwood architecture. See this, data memory is separate as well as program memory is separate. This is the CPU. So a separate address and data lines are needed for accessing the data memory. At the same time, a separate address and data lines are needed for accessing the program memory. So, but see this. So there is no restrictions for considering same number of address and data lines for both data and program memory. For suppose you can see this example. So in this data memory, you are using only 8 address lines as well as the 8 data lines for suppose. But see this program memory, you are going to access the 16-bit buses. But in this case, we are using same, that is almost a leap. Okay, so this is the main difference between the program memory as well as the data. There are some advantages of this methods because so we can easily access the program memory. Can easily access the program memory. So go. Okay, so this is also because of this separation. Because of this separation, easy accessible of the program memory is one advantage. Is easily accessible, then second one is it is also helpful for fetching the instructions. It follows the pipeline pipe, pipeline fetching. So what is this fetching? So fetching, what is the meaning of fetching means? Fetching means whenever you are writing the instruction, whenever you are going to write the instruction, that instruction is decoded. So first of all you can identify that instruction, nothing but decoded that instruction. Okay, so then execution that instruction, that we can call it as a fetching, decoded as well as the execution. But yeah, but you can follow the one Neumann architecture. So see this, you can follow the one Neumann architecture. So if you write the programming for that CPU by using some keyboard, you write the programming. So for suppose move instruction, so that is decoded by the assembler here. That then send it to the program. So again, come back to the CPU to execute that. So decoded that one as well as executed in the CPU. So two-way. So that code. So this is the human language. You know that one. But this move has the code 1001 for suppose for example. So machine is understand only this codes. So that is the decoding. So which type of instruction we are giving. For the same purpose, we are using same address as well as the database. So that's why this microprocessor 8086 as well as microcontroller 8085 will follow the sequence. So if it execute one instruction first, then after coming to the second instruction only. Remember, in 8086, whenever any type of the microprocessor microcontroller will follow the one Neumann architecture, they can follow the sequential execution. So you can only execution one instruction first, then after coming to the second instruction. But that is the sequence. But now this ROD architecture will follow the pipelining. So it is fetching the instruction, three process: fetching, decoding. See this decoding, then third one execution. Three-way process is there: fetching, decoding, then execution. So in sequential fetching cycle is nothing but one Neumann architecture process. So first it is fetching, then after decoding, then after execution. So it can perform one instruction. For suppose move, I can write move A comma B. So these three operations is performed first. Then after for suppose move A comma B, for suppose add A comma B, I can write this in two instructions. So first the sequence instructions follows fetching the instruction, then decoding that instruction, and fetching. So nothing but it is coming to the CPU. So then after it converts, so it decoded what type of instruction it is. Then after executed in the CPU. So first instruction is completed first, then after coming to the second. But in pipeline architecture, the pipelining. So advantages of this. or what a pipelining I mean execution is formed. Pipelining means, so it is fetch the instruction, first instruction, then after decoding that, then after the execution. So before decoding as well as execution, it it fetches the second instruction, a parallel pipelining, a parallel. Then again, a third instruction before completion of the first instruction. So it fetches the second instruction, but in sequence it is not called. So once that instruction first instruction is executed completely, nothing but fetching, decoding, execution. Then after it coming to the second. But in pipeline architecture, so it coming to the fetching, decoding, and the execution of the first instruction. Before the completion of that decoding as well as execution, it coming to the second instruction. It is fetched that information, pipeline one by one. So before completion of that, it is fetching that information. But in sequentially, after completion of the three processes, three steps only, it can come into the second instruction. So that is the one of the advantages of this pipeline. So it has CPU. We know that this microcontroller has CPU. So it is not different from the microcontroller. CPU, you know that you can perform the arithmetical operations, then some mathematical operations, logical operations, and okay, this is very much similar. So memory organization of that PK. You know that memory organization can be done in can be of static RAM or nothing but sorry, yeah, it may be of RAM, it may be of ROM. So random access memory as well as the read-only memory as well as stack. So again, this RAM and ROM is nothing but the data RAM, data memory as well as the program memory. Data memory as well as the program memory. Okay. See this. How to separate the data memory as well as program memory. This is exclusively for Harvard architectures. See this. This is the CPU. This is CPU. So one side you are connecting the data memory RAM, another side you are connecting the ROM, program memory ROM. See this program. Whenever you are considering a program, it considered as read-only memory, read-only. ROM, read-only memory. RAM is random access memory. You can read the data, at the same time write the data. So this is data memory. This is the data memory. This is the program memory space. Series. So this data memory, you have some different types of registers. Likewise, 805 microcontroller, we have the 32 registers are there. SFR, nothing but the accumulator, W register, B register, as well as timer 0 register, timer 1 register, and DPTR registers. Likewise, this is also this RAM is also some different types of registers. This total registers in 805 you can divide into the 4 banks. Likewise, nothing but likewise here also number of registers we are dividing into the different types of the banks. All these banks, see this 5 banks we are dividing. All these sorry for the one. All these registers you are dividing into the 2 different groups: general purpose registers, special purpose, special function registers. These different types of registers. So this PIC18 MCUs, PIC18 microcontroller units, PIC18, all the PIC18 microcontroller, it has 21-bit programmable counter, program counter. So this program counter is divided into the 3 different categories. Program counter for this higher unit as higher as well as lower. So in this one lower piece program counter, PC means program counter, register is directly accessing the user. Then both PCH, PC are 8 bits. In PC, because it is the 21 bits only. So 8 bits, then 8 bits, 16 and 5, 21 total. So what is the functionality of the program counter? So this program counter will generate the addresses for next instructions. Okay. Okay, see this data memory. You know that 2 types of memories are there: data memory as well as the program memory. You see this data memory. Data memory is nothing but the RAM. That may be of dynamic RAM, or that may be of SRAM, static RAM, or whatever, different types of RAM. So this 18 will supports up to the 4096 KB, nothing but 4 KB of so this 4096 is nothing but the 4 KB of data memory. So it can request 12 bits of address to select one of the data registers, 12 addresses. So what is the instruction size of this PIC18? So PIC18 instructions, most instructions are 16 bits instructions. So this PIC18 is divided into the 4096 file registers into the 16 banks. Remember, 16 banks. In 8051 microcontroller, you are dividing only the 4 banks of the registers in data memory. See this. Remember the diagram. 4 banks: register bank 0, register bank 1, register bank 2, register bank 3. But in this PIC18 data memory, you are dividing into the 16 banks. Okay. So this out of the 16 bank, you have the general purpose registers. At the same time, the special function registers are there. So what are the use of these general purpose registers? General purpose registers are used to hold the dynamic data when the PIC18 CPU is executing a program. So SFR register is used by the CPU and peripheral module for controlling the desired location of the microcontroller units. So these are available at the RAM. Now see this. This is some basic diagram of the bit selection of this SFR. See this. See this RAM. See this RAM. General purpose. You see these all are the general purpose registers. General purpose registers. Register bank 0, bank 1, bank 2, bank 3, bank 4 to the 13, then 15, then 14, 15, 16. Then SFRs. These are the SFRs. Series. So up to the this 4 KB memory. So 0 to the general purpose register will occupy the memory of 0, 0, 0 to 0 to the E, F, F, H. SFRs will only take the memory size of F602 F, F, H. 4K. 4K. This is nothing. This is value of 4K, but this F0 to the see this. F60 to the FFH only. SFRs memory, very less memory. But GPRs will access this almost all and most of the memory. So 90% of the memory is accessed by the general purpose registers. Only 10% of the memory is accessed by the SFR, special function registers here. Okay, you can convert F60 to FFH. You can convert that one. What is that one? So this FFF means here 4096. Remember, what is this F60? You can convert. These are the hexadecimal form. We can convert hexa to the decimal. Convert hexa to decimal. You know that what is the value of this one? This is the size of the SFR. This is the size of the SFR. Okay. So then we have the EPROM is also there. WEPROM, data memory. So, but you remember, in 8051 microcontrollers and for the data memory purpose, we are only using the random access memory. But in this PIC controller, for data memory purpose, we are also using the WEPROM, electrically erasable programmable read-only memories. Read-only memory means you are using programmable memory. But in PIC18, you are for data memory purpose, you are using this WEPROM. Okay, what is the so Rathimat, can WEPROMs or EPROM or flash memories also used for the data memory purpose. Our cell phones, or likewise our cell phones, every day we are using cell phones. Every day use cell phones. So those that follow the flash memories, remember, those that follow the most of the companies, they follow the flash memories. So these PIC18 devices have the one chip flash memory, one chip flash memory, also either of 256 bytes or 1024 bytes of data equal. Okay. Now program memory organized. See this program memory organized. So this PIC has 21-bit program counter. Has 21-bit program counter. Nothing but 8-bit higher, 8-bit lower, plus remaining 5 bits. Totally 21 bits. We are dividing into 21. PCH, PCL, PCU. So 21 bits. Okay. See this program memories. So most of the program memory, nothing but PIC18 has the 21-bit program counters. But see this different members of the PIC18 family have different memory configurations. You know that very well because those are mainly depends on the family of that microcontrollers. It may at the same time the number of uh, pins of that microcontrollers. So now see this the PIC18 CXX2 and PIC18 CXXI device have on-chip EPROM program memory only and cannot be accessed external memory. See this like see this diagrams. Okay, see this one. See this one. These are the so see this. These are the numbers. Okay. Likewise. Okay. Likewise, we have the different types of the programming. See this. These are the these are the program memory organizations. So next class we may be discussed in the program memory organization. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the joining today's class.